The following podcast contains strong language and frank discussions of violence. Listener discretion is advised.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Murder Amongst Friends. My name is Joanne, and I had a full night's sleep, so I'm here to annoy the shit out of my beautiful co-host, Michael. Hello, Michael.
I hope that's what you were all signed up for, is me being exacerbated. And
More than usual.
Nope, exasperated.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Not exacerbated.
No.
I'm exacerbating your mood.
There we go.
You're exasperated.
There you go.
Not aspirated either.
Definitely not.
Don't want to aspirate because I'm not going to help you.
Yeah.
As we all know, when you accidentally waterboarded yourself by trying to drink a soda that exploded, and I stood there pissing my pants laughing while you were literally choking to death.
For a solid 5 minutes?
So, it was for a good long while.
Yeah.
So
I would be dead if I needed actual help.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that, buddy. I really love you, buddy. But it was fucking hysterical. So, I mean, who could really blame me?
It all happened in slow motion for me.
Oh, it happened really fast for me.
Yeah.
It was like a 2-second thing, and then I was down and out. That was it.
Yeah.
So, I think I actually did pee a little, too. So.
And then you had to call your kid, and
and
couldn't even explain the story through the laughter.
I did call her, and I was crying, laughing, and she had no idea what was going on.
Yep.
And then she was like, "Oh my God, you're so mean." And I was like, "I know."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So this may be the first time she fully understands the story.
Well, that's just my love language, Michael, is my form of foreplay. Which is why I'm single.
Because you've been praying mantising all of these people?
Yeah. Because I'm the Black Widow.
Right.
So,
Fair
I mean,
enough.
Hey, it is what it is. You knew what you're getting into when you signed up for
Did
this.
I?
You did.
Oh, okay.
You wanted this friendship, buddy.
It's
now
true.
you got it, and now you're stuck with it.
I said, I'm going along in my life here. Something's missing. Something that I can only describe as laughter at my mortal peril.
Torture.
And if I could have somebody that could laugh at me when I was in actual trouble, that would really be the ultimate. That's what I'm looking for.
Turmoil.
Yeah.
Really does it for you.
Yeah. Uh-oh. This liquid should not be in this part of my body.
Whoa. That's a different kind of show, buddy. It's a little too early for that. It's the Lord's Day, Michael. Need I remind you?
You do have to remind me, because that is not something on the forefront of my mind.
It's Moses' day. Well, no, that would be Saturday, wouldn't it? That would be your day, Saturday.
Yeah, but we also don't exactly pray to Moses.
I don't know what you guys do.
I mean,
I barely know what I do.
Even when I was one of those guys.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Well, I was never one of those guys, so you can't really hold me accountable, but.
We can try.
Yeah.
This week, we have a story that the first time I came across it, it kind of imprinted on me in a way that a lot of true crime stories don't. This is one where...
Ooh, now I'm intrigued.
The
That's
details...
a bold statement.
Well, the details of this one actually stick with me, whereas a lot of the other ones, since...
Nothing sticks with you, so now I'm very interested.
Yeah, and I'm sure listeners who are as deep into true crime as we are can very frequently get details mixed up. Mm-hmm. Was this a Bundy victim, or was this a Gacy victim, or was this a, it's keeping the specifics of it separate can be challenging when there's so much of it on your mind. But this one, kind of start to finish, there's details in here that are just so unique to other true crime stories that it's one that I think about. And I know when we were first starting our friendship, I sent you a link to this. Now,
did I ignore it?
This will be the true test.
Oh shit! You're gonna really pull this on me on air to see if I? Okay. No, fine. No, let's. Okay. This will be a testament to our friendship if I followed through, or if I went, I don't give a shit what this kid's sending me. I barely know the kid at this point. Don't send me shit. And that is my attitude. I have a poor attitude, according to every elementary school report from any teacher I ever had. That, and I talk too much. So
you talk too much?
Yeah.
But
weird.
Anybody who knows our current dynamic and what we actually bonded over will see that me sending you an article about this story was actually me trying to initiate some sort of friendship here. Like, look, this is an interesting thing that I find fascinating. Perhaps you will too, and we can discuss and bond over it. and then you're like, yeah, fuck it.
If I probably never click that. Okay, let's see if well, this is gonna make me look either really, really bad or very good, and I prefer to look really bad.
This is the story of the Eriksson twins.
Don't remember it right yet, but let's keep going and see what happens.
Before we begin, I need to explain a psychiatric phenomenon known as folie à deux, which literally means folly of two.
Oh, adieu. Adieu.
Yeah.
Two. Not
D-E-U-X.
adieu to you and you and you. Okay, right.
So it literally translates as the folly of two, or the madness shared by two. It's also known as shared psychosis or shared delusional disorder, SDD.
Right.
It is a psychiatric syndrome in which symptoms of a delusional belief and sometimes hallucinations are transmitted from one individual to another.
Yes, which is why you get these little, like Mickey and Mallory type fucking people that feed off each other.
This is what happened with the Papan sisters. This was a lot of people thinking Leopold and Loeb. This happened to them. So this is another example of that. Okay. In May 2008, Swedish twins, Ursula...
Before you were born, Michael. Because you're just a baby.
Yeah. I don't know if we've said this on an episode before. I say it to her quite frequently. I was either born in the 1700s or yesterday.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
There's no...
I'm either anciently old
or just a baby.
Or a newborn lamb.
I love babies.
In May 2008, Swedish twins Ursula and Sabina Eriksson sneak out of Sabina's home in Ireland and make a secret trip to Liverpool.
Also, Ireland is still not on our list of listeners, and I'm still harping on that. Yeah. I check it all the time. Can someone just send a text to one of your friends in Ireland and just have one person listen so that we can get the whole UK?
This one has a little bit of an Irish connection. They started in Ireland.
I mean, yeah.
They don't end up there, but
I'm gonna hashtag Ireland on this one.
Yeah.
Just to try to get one person so that we can get the entirety of the UK. Continue.
Yeah. There you go. So they are going from their home in Ireland down to Liverpool. Which is in England.
Liverpool, where the Beatles hail from, my favorite band of all time.
And where that show, The Responder, on BritBox.
That's a great show. That's a great show. Everybody should watch that.
If you like Martin Freeman, check that one out.
I love Martin Freeman.
Yeah. Once they get there, the twins go to the local police station to report concerns for Sabina's child back in Ireland. Oh. Unsure why the woman would come to England to report the incident, the local police called the Irish police to do a welfare check. The Irish were able to confirm that the child was fine, so Sabina and Ursula got on a bus and headed to London. Well, tried to head to London. During the trip, some of the passengers and the driver witnessed strange behavior from the twins.
Okay. What kind of strange behavior?
The women even suggested the driver stop because they weren't feeling well. They were acting so strangely that the driver made an unplanned stop at a service station. The twins' actions stayed in the realm of off-kilter so much that the driver wouldn't let them back on the bus.
Like, okay, so they weren't acting like, ooh, I'm sick. They were just acting like nutty.
Yeah, like standing up in the seats, sitting back down, walking to the front, walking back, and then when they got to the service station, just kind of going up to stuff, checking it out, looking at it, just being generally strange, not necessarily menacing, like nobody needs to be called, but no one needs to be called yet, but the driver felt so uncomfortable for the safety of the bus and the other passengers that it's like, you guys are staying here.
Yeah. This is where you live now.
Yeah.
At the petrol station.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
They were now basically stranded at this random service station. The driver and the bus passengers weren't the only ones concerned. The manager of that service station called police when he saw the way the women were acting. When the police got there, they spoke to the twins, judged them to be no threat, and left shortly thereafter.
That seems very likely.
Once the cops left, Sabina and Ursula did too, and decided to walk along one of the busiest roads in England, the M6, which is
That's
a
highway.
Yes.
I've been on the M6. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Because I'm a world traveler, Michael. Well, I mean, I have been to England like 3 times, but I don't think that qualifies me as a world traveler.
No.
I've
That's...
also been on the M4.
Whoa.
So...
The M4 and the M6.
I don't want to brag.
We're definitely getting
about my
Irish listeners now.
Storied life, but, you know.
Definitely getting Irish listeners now with our references to English roadways.
Come on, Ireland.
The twins were seen on CC cameras walking along the M6 down the median
Dangerous.
of the road.
Right.
I don't know if any of you ever walked down the middle of a highway.
You do not want to do that.
Yeah, it's not recommended.
Don't try that at home.
Suddenly, without warning.
All of the sudden, Michael? All of the sudden?
I will stop this recording right now.
You don't like that phrase? All of the sudden?
No, I do not. I do not like word salad. That is ultimately meaningless.
Well, that's a whole nother
Okay.
story.
Without warning, both sisters ran out into traffic.
Oh.
Cars struck each of them, and traffic started to back up on the road.
Wait a second. This is starting to sound familiar.
Are you just saying
No,
that? Okay.
I am starting to remember this, so our friendship will remain tentatively intact.
Not if you keep saying a whole nother. Other drivers called the highway patrol and the police, and when officers arrived, they saw that the twins had only superficial injuries.
Lucky for them.
They talked with the women on the shoulder of the road and started directing traffic to get it going again. While the service members continued to chat,
Yeah.
Ursula just walked into traffic again.
Yeah, she did it again.
Getting run over by a 40-ton box truck,
Holy shit.
crushing her legs. Just as suddenly, Sabina jumped into oncoming traffic and was quickly struck by a car at high speed, smashed into the windshield, thrown through the air, and landed hard on the pavement.
Ayo, she had to one-up her sister, obviously.
Well, naturally. Very coincidentally, the responding police were being followed by cameras for a show called Real Stories of the Highway Patrol. Motorway Cops. Both hits were captured by the cameramen to varying degrees, so there is
Right.
footage of both accidents.
Yeah, well, that's pretty gnarly, I would say.
When police and EMTs were trying to help, Ursula screamed for police, convinced that the people trying to help her in that moment were not real police. They were trying to hurt her.
Oh.
So she's like, police, police, help. And they're like, we
And
are
they're
the
like,
police.
we are helping you. And she's like, not you.
No, yeah.
Them.
She spit and hissed at them, saying they were fake. She knew who they were. She knew they weren't real.
Okay.
And they were going to steal the bags the twins were carrying.
Was it a satchel of jewels, Michael?
in their fake leg. After being unconscious for several minutes, Sabina got up and started struggling and fighting with the police, punching one hard in the face.
Ooh.
She ran into traffic again
Not advised.
on the other side of the motorway, screaming for her sister that the people helping her were trying to steal her organs.
It's not funny because obviously they have some mental illness going on here, but
They're in real and
yeah.
acute distress.
Yeah.
But
That must be terrifying. Just imagine, like, you really believe that the people that are probing you and touching you and grabbing you and trying to help you, in your mind, are really trying to hurt you. Imagine the terror. And you're screaming for people to help you. And they're like, we are helping you. And you're like, please leave me alone. Oh, that's actually really scary. Yeah.
The cops said that Sabina had superhuman strength and it required 6 people, police and just random drivers,
Well, yeah, it's like the adrenaline goes nuts.
to subdue and restrain her. Mm-hmm. Finally, the twins were taken to a local hospital, And just that story would be weird enough, but things get much stranger.
Great. I love strange and unusual.
Ursula was brought to the hospital and rushed into surgery, while other staff checked over Sabina. So they were fixing Ursula's legs, or trying to anyway. Yeah. Sabina exhibited a calm demeanor, answering most questions in a polite manner. She'd definitely calmed down since being on the highway, claiming the cops were organ thieves.
Maybe because she's separated from her sister and they're not feeding off of each other's psychosis.
That is a very good theory.
I'm not a medical professional, Michael, but if I had to fathom a guess, that's what I would go with.
I would say that is the explanation. Except I know what happens next.
Do you concur?
I would, but I have a little more information.
But you're wrong, so. Yeah.
She was even cracking jokes with the nurses.
Cracking wines, Mike. She's cracking wines.
Toxicology screens showed no drugs or alcohol in Ursula's system.
Uh-oh.
But they didn't test Sabina.
Oh, well, what the heck?
I mean, it was probably...
Hey, what do they think? Well, they're twins. If one doesn't have it, the other one probably doesn't either. We can save the money in the test.
Yeah. I mean, they drew blood from Ursula for the surgery, I'm sure.
I mean,
and
hopefully.
They just didn't bother with Sabina,
but that would be something you would probably want to know if you're going to give her some kind of meds or something. What if they interact, you know?
The bags the twins were so protective of only held one passport and several cell phones. There was like nothing in there that they would be overly protective of. After seeing several professionals, they all deemed that Sabina did not exhibit any signs of mental or psychological illness. And was released after being charged and sentenced to 1 day of custody, which was considered served.
She ran into traffic on purpose. How can you say that she's obviously very strong-minded. She has no feeble issues in her brain box, and I think we should just let her go, even though she just tried to commit suicide by throwing herself into traffic.
Punched an officer square in the face, which is what she was arrested and charged for.
I mean, that I'm less concerned about because she obviously was in the throes of like an episode.
Yeah. Well, they sentenced her to 1 day of custody, but considered it served because of her time in the hospital.
I would say maybe keep her there for a little more eval, but again, not a medical profesh.
The entire time Sabina was questioned, she never gave a reason for being in England. She never once asked about her sister, how Ursula was. She was free to leave, but didn't have anywhere to go or anywhere to stay. Fortunately for Sabina, a good Samaritan would offer her assistance. Unfortunately for him, Sabina wasn't as calm as she appeared.
Also, who's got the child? Like, where's the baby? Who's taking care of the baby?
She's fine back in Ireland. The cops checked on her.
Yeah, great. Okay, so we're just going to throw ourselves into traffic while one of our children are just...
Yeah, that was seemingly the catalyst for all of this, but why they left Ireland in the first place is still kind of mysterious. No one really knows.
Yeah.
Glenn Hollingshead...
It's not funny. I don't know why I laughed. It's okay. It's fine.
And his friend Peter Malloy were walking home from a pub with Glenn's dog when they saw Sabina standing on the side of the road.
They didn't say what kind of dog it was, did they?
No.
I'm like you, and every time somebody mentions a movie in a story, you're like, what movie was it? Yeah. What theater did they go to? What time was the showing? Did they enjoy it? What were the reviews? And I'm just like, what kind of dog was it?
This I don't know. But Sabina did ask to pet the dog and also inquired if there are any hotels or B&Bs nearby. Mm-hmm. Another bit of unfortunate...
Seems like she's really calmed down.
Yeah. Another bit of unfortunate news for Glenn is that there were no places to stay in the area.
Oh, geez.
But after hearing Sabina's story about looking for her sister, Glenn offered his place for Sabina to rest, and he would start calling around to local hospitals.
Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're alone in the world with no one to help you? You can stay at my flat, and I'll just assist you with things. Hey, me and my friend, you can trust us. 2 against 1. Come back to the flat, young lady who's clearly has suffered a trauma. That sounds safe.
Peter went with Glenn, and Sabina back to Glenn's house.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
But left after Sabina started acting odd.
Oh, boy.
Sabina would suddenly stand, peek through the curtains, looking up and down the street, and act as if someone was following her.
These boys don't know what they've gotten themselves into, Michael.
Well, she offered both men cigarettes, and just before they lit them, Sabina would snatch them away, putting them back in the pack. When asked why, she said they were probably poisoned and they shouldn't smoke them.
What?
While smoking one of the cigarettes from the pack herself.
This chick. She's really fucking with these dudes.
While with Glenn and Peter, Sabina never complained about pain and didn't exhibit any behavior of someone that had just been run over by a car twice.
This is the thing. How is she walking around?
Yeah.
Like, isn't she even just, at the very least, sore?
Yeah.
Like, just like a little bit. You know, you get a
Yeah.
bad bruise and you're just like, you do the Peter Griffin. You know, for like 5 minutes. And she's just like, yeah, I got run over twice, but yo, I'm fine because I'm a bad bitch.
Yeah, had Sabina's legs not been pulverized, or Ursula's legs not been pulverized, I don't know what would have happened. Like, if she was moving around the same way Sabina was and they both could have got out of there, I don't know what would have happened.
It leaves a lot to the imagination, I can tell you that.
When Peter left that evening, it would be the last time he saw Glenn alive.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh.
In the morning, so Sabina stayed the night.
This is...
Not with Glenn, supposedly.
Right.
In the morning, Glenn continued to make phone calls trying to locate...
Well, would you sleep in the same room with her? Would you even let her stay at your house?
No, I probably would have had a little bit of a, reaction to at least the cigarettes, if not
but you're
somebody...
not going to tell me that there's not one hotel, motel, place to stay, and hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. Say what?
Yeah.
To like just, I'd be like, listen, honey, sweetie, baby pie.
Liverpool's not a small
My
place
love.
to be.
Although we're gonna find you. Hey, I'm sure there's a pub somewhere with a room to rent upstairs or something for the night. Drop her little ass off there. Be a gentleman. Pay for the room. Great, and get yourself out of there because I have a feeling things are gonna go left.
Well, if you remembered this story, it would be more than a feeling.
It's a vague feeling, Mike,
Okay.
which I think is a memory.
All right.
Okay.
Sure.
Stop busting my chops.
You make your chops.
I've made my chops. Thanks.
So Glenn was still trying to call hospitals to find Ursula, even though Sabina knew where Ursula was. He recruited his brother in the search as well. Sabina didn't seem distressed at all, and later that day, Glenn asked his next-door neighbor to borrow a few tea bags.
Not a euphemism.
The neighbor was in the middle of washing his car, so he told Glenn that he would bring them over when he was finished. So Glenn decides to go back inside and wait for the tea bags. Almost right after Glenn steps into his house, he stumbles right back out, pouring blood from 4 stab wounds.
That's a quick force. That's a pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
Like that. That's quick. She was waiting.
He told the neighbor, quote, "She stabbed me," and collapsed.
She stabbed me. She stabbed me. Oh, that's the wrong accent, but you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shortly after, Sabina ran out of Glenn's house carrying a hammer. You know,
as you do. Her brain's overworked. Here we go, Liverpool. That's the extent of my your brain's overworked.
The Beatles are your favorite band, and you can only do Paul Hollywood.
First of all, Paul Hollywood, but he can bake my bread. He can put his bread in my oven anytime he wants. He got ba. Shh. Sorry about that, guys. I'm in a mood.
We can tell. A passing driver stopped to help Sabina when he noticed she was smashing herself in the head with the hammer.
It's not funny. It's not funny, Mike.
Proving no good deed goes unpunished, Sabina smashed him in the head with a roofing tile.
Come on. Where the fuck did you get that from? What?
On the side
Just
of the
thought
road.
they were doing maintenance on the house or something, and she was like, a roofing tile. Allow me to bash your brains in. Again, wrong accent. I can't stop falling into Joni Boney Maroney here.
Sabina,
Joni. Don't you Joni.
Sabina ran again and was chased by police. They followed her to a bridge, which she immediately jumped off of from a height of 30 feet.
Oh my God. That's high.
Breaking both ankles and fracturing her skull.
Yeah, of course. 30 feet is like the top of, if you've ever gone to like a rock climbing gym, it's usually 30 feet up, like the tall wall where you climb up and you get all the way to the top. It's like 30 feet. That shit's scary. And I am
a couple stories.
Terrified of heights. So the few times that I've been to like a rock gym and just had a panic attack at the top and had to have people, they're like, no, just rappel down. And I'm like, no, lower me the fuck down as I'm crying. Like looking super cool in my harness, just crying. So that's good.
Sabina once again was rushed to the hospital, and it would be months before her and her twin would be released. Ursula was allowed to return to her family in Sweden, and Sabina was charged with murder.
Well, shit. What are they going to do without each other, Michael?
Sabina's trial was postponed for a long time while the authorities tried to get her medical records from Sweden. Eventually, she pleaded guilty to lesser charges. She was assessed by 2 different forensic psychiatrists, and when questioned, Sabina only gave one answer. She's a fan of our podcast.
No comment.
No comment. She served 2.5 years of her 5-year sentence, after which she was returned to Sweden as well. During her imprisonment, Sabina never explained why she and her sister were in England, what happened that day on the M6, or what happened to Glenn Hollingshead.
Right. Glenn Hollowhead. Let's not make fun of the...
Let's speak ill of the dead.
Let's not make fun of the deceased.
She never spoke of her sister, and investigations into the twins' past didn't show any history of mental illness or psychosis.
So weird how that happens.
Some suggest that Ursula's original psychosis affected Sabina, causing her to do things that ended in the unfortunate murder of Glenn.
I mean, they are twins. I know that it happens with people that aren't even related. But imagine, like, the bond between twins.
Oh, yeah.
So that if one person is suffering, you know, the other person somehow also experiences those symptoms. It's very, very wild phenomena.
Yeah.
Phenomena. 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 What is that face you're pulling right now?
I can't even look at her anymore. And that was...
I love you so much, Magoo.
That was the story of the Eriksson twins.
Yeah, well, those chicks is crazy.
Astute observation.
Thank you. Like I said, not a med profesh. So, yeah, that's so weird. Like, I wonder what could have happened. Clearly, one sister... I mean, the one sister had the baby. How old was the baby? Do we know how old the child was? Maybe she was in the throes of, like, some wacky postpartum depression thing, and it just... transferred over to her sister because they're so close, so they were sharing it. And then maybe they thought you're trying to steal from, maybe somebody was trying to take her baby away back in Ireland because she was having this postpartum depression. And you know, back in, we're talking what, 15 roughly years ago,
2008. Yep.
So I mean, that was sort of just kind of coming to the forefront, right? Of course, you had Matt Lauer and Tom Cruise saying that that's not a fucking thing, even though they don't have a uterus and should probably shut the fuck up, right? I mean, about things that have to do with women's bodies and women's health, but that's just my opinion.
Matt Lauer should shut up for a lot of
I mean, he
should
shut up
too.
In general, yeah. But yeah, maybe, like, how old was the child? Do we know?
I cannot find out how old.
I wonder how long postpartum depression can last. Can it be like the baby's a year and you still have it? Or is it just until the hormones kind of flush their way out? I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was blessed enough to not have that. But I do have some family members that went through it. But I never really, I didn't want to pry and, you know, get too much into it because I don't know that they really...
It's a tough thing.
Yeah, it's a hard thing. You don't want to just be like, how's that PPD?
How's those baby blues?
How's the baby blues? You doing all right? You don't want to, like, throw that kid out the window or anything, do you? Okay, good. Okay, bye. Like, it's very...
Yeah, it's It's tricky.
It is tricky.
Speaking of twins, though, one thing that we can recommend, there is a new series on ABC with episodes the next day on Hulu.
At first, I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And now I remember, and I'm like, "Yeah, holy shit."
Yeah. The show is called Who Do You Believe? And the conceit of the show is they tell a story in parallel, and you get literally both sides of the story
at the same time. And
it is up to you, dear viewer, to form your own conclusions.
And let me tell you something. The first episode was bonkers.
Yeah.
Second episode was fine, right?
Yeah, that was the Nichelle Nichols episode. Was
fine.
Yeah.
Third
and fourth.
Nay, fourth episodes, Michael, are batshit fucking crazy. And I don't use that term loosely.
No, this is
batshit bonkers crazy.
Yeah. There's twins who grew up, part of their life separated, came back together. They're on one side of this story.
The mom is a bit of a, let's call her a wild card.
Yeah.
Let's not disparage her. But she might have lived in a cuckoo clock.
Yeah.
She's the little bird that lives in there.
Yeah. There is, I think I said my summation, not to give anything away, we won't go into the details in case you should definitely watch it yourself. But I believe I said, I don't know if the twins are telling the truth, but I wouldn't believe this mom if she told me it was raining during a hurricane.
Yeah. And I went, yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Thank
you for your confirmation.
There's a simpler way to say that. In my head, I went, just go, this mom's full of shit.
I try to be folksy.
I know.
Okay? Got to keep it
just
interesting.
Just go, twins.
Yeah.
I believe them. Who do you believe? Twins. Or mom. But no, I don't know. There were times where I was like, this mom does seem genuine. But then I was like, is she genuine?
Yeah. And the sisters clearly have an agenda. And are
you think they have an agenda though?
I mean, I think they have equal reasons to not be truthful in this scenario. However,
disagree.
Their story and the details of their story are more believable, and there's just more of them.
Yeah, I think that the details of their story definitely are more believable.
So I also said if they are lying, they're better at it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, this is why. Who do you believe? Yeah.
So please watch that and let us know.
Yeah.
On the old Twitter or Instagram.
The oldie.
At MAF
Socials
Podcast Show. Or if you'd like to write a dissertation about who you believe, you can email us at mafpodcastshow@gmail.com.
And I promise Michael will read it. And then he'll tell me about it.
Yeah, but be succinct, because if you try to be, flowery in your language,
I will cut you short.
Yeah,
I don't have time for your bullshit. Yeah. Okay?
Just say twins.
Just go twins. Or mom.
Yeah.
Or, like Mike said, write a dissertation, and I'm sure he would love to debate that with you for hours on end. I, on the other hand.
Yeah, because my best friend that I host a show with where we talk about things couldn't be bothered. So have a great week, everybody. And we will see you next time.
See you next time. And hopefully I will also have another full night of sleep to bring you all the listening pleasures in the world while I torture Michael, which is my life's work and just tickles me. Goodbye, everyone.
Pray for me, dear listener.
Goodbye.